Hey everybody, this video is to go over how to write a race paragraph after you read an article. So now that you've kind of practiced what the components of a race paragraph are, actually looking at an article and having to draw a conclusion or find an answer based on that article and then writing a paragraph to support your answer. This article is not like the one that we have done on playlist 5 or that you guys will be working on playlist 5. That would be this article right here about crime scenes, but it is very similar. It comes from the same source. So we're going to get started. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is when you're going to be reading your crime scene investigation article, the first thing you should do is really look at the question. What question are you being asked? Because then you know what you need to highlight or what you need to pull out for evidence. So you're trying to formulate an answer. So for example, the question for the Oregon Trail article about the Oregon Trail that you're going to have to answer after you read this article would be, what were some tools that the immigrants had that helped them with their journey? So you're going to have to answer that. So then when you're listening through this article or listening through to whatever article you guys have been assigned, you're thinking about that question in the back of your mind. So if I was going to go ahead and read this article, I would be thinking about that question the whole time and trying to find things that were tools that they had. So it would help me with my answer. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to play this article for you guys so you can read through it, and the whole time I want you to be thinking about the answer to that question. What were some tools that the immigrants had that helped them? So not the ones that maybe hindered them, but helped them with their journey. So see if you can come up with a couple.
45.
So if I was actually reading through this and looking for specifically those tools that might have helped them, here's where I start seeing that there are tools that they're listing. Like, for example, they had 104 covered wagons. Like, that's a tool that could help them. Also, same thing, they're talking about oxen, chains. Like, these are things that I'm picking up on so that I can, when I need to actually go and write that paragraph later, I have those ready to go. So again, make sure you guys are looking for those actual tools that they've used. So you're trying to pick up on those and maybe note them. So if I had notes off to the side, I might actually select that. Like, I could actually select this and I could put this in my notes for later. However you want to do it, so that I have those listed, however you want to organize your thoughts. But make sure you're picking up on those tools that they had that would have helped them with this journey.
Puts the K1 forces in.
depending on um, what you consider tools, I also think that that's important. Something that they had was creating a system of rules that could be a tool that they have used to help them be successful. So again, if I thought that was important and I'm like, oh, that is something really important, then I could copy and paste it or highlight it, and I could bring it back over here to my notes and just copy and paste it right in there so that I have it for later. You guys can write it if you have like a piece of paper in front of you. You can write it down on the piece of paper so you can come back to it later. You could copy and paste it in this writing section over here if you wanted to. There's also an option to do annotation through this website, which I will tell you guys about in a little bit. So again, as you're going through, that's like your main focus. You're only focusing on that question and collecting evidence that might help you answer that question. It's right here. It's actually saying they're amply equipped with all of these things. So here's some things that they have that they're equipped with that would help them. So again, I'm copying and pasting it because I'm keeping my notes there. And then I'm just going to keep listening. You know, I also think, like, just from my point of view, and again, you guys can come up with a different answer for this. But if I was going to maybe like think about the tools that they might have, yes, you can think about actual tools. You can think about the wagons, the ox, the actual like arms, which means like guns and weapons, um, the abundance of animals, the experienced guides, so like people to actually show them the land. Those could definitely be a thing. But I also would maybe pay attention and kind of think outside of the box because again, you're just collecting evidence here. But if if I thought about myself and doing this and putting myself in their shoes, one of my biggest tools would be my determination. So when it talks about that, as I thought about it, I was like, you know what? Honestly, that could be considered a tool. Is their determination to do that and to succeed? That's something that they will use to get this done. So just to let you know, when you're reading through this stuff, like copying and pasting or highlighting things because they might be the right answer or they could help you answer it, no matter how outside the box it is. Like that's what these notes are for. So just so that you are aware, I'm not just copy and pasting the actual like equipment that they have, but also maybe some of the strengths that they have as people, because those are also tools, and that's kind of outside the box. Okay, so now that I am done like reading through this article, I need to now look at my notes, and I also need to write a race paragraph because that's what you're gonna have to do when you're trying to find an answer using an article, and then you also have to support it with that article. So here's what I want you guys to do right now. I'm gonna give you a series of questions, and I want you to think about how you would restate these questions. So the first one is going to be like, what is your favorite subject? So go ahead and think for a second and let me know how you guys would restate this. So what is your favorite subject? You would start it with, instead of your, it's from your point of view, so you would say my favorite, if I can type, subject is. And you're using all of the same language that's in that question. That's what it means by restate and answer. So you're basically restating or rewording your question so that it's not a question anymore, so it's an actual sentence. So my favorite subject is, and then the answer part of that would just be in the same sentence. How about this? How many clocks do you have in your house? Super random, I know, but if I was going to ask you that, what would you say back to me? How would you restate that? So again, you're taking out the question words and the question mark, and what are you left with? So instead of in your, in this case it would be I, and then you're using the same language. I have blank amount of clocks in my house. And again, you restated and answered using that race model. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and erase this stuff because we don't actually need that for this article, but just so that you guys now remember how to restate and answer, we're going to restate and answer this question. So what were some tools that the immigrants had that helped them on their journey? So we would put some tools that the immigrants used to help them on, or with, because it uses with their journey, were, or some tools that immigrants used to help them with their journey were, and see how I did that? I basically took away the question word, so what word got took away the question mark, and then I reworded what was there to match very closely. So this is the restate. I'm even going to put this restate part of it. And then this next part is going to be the